Now, though, the international period gave the chance for stories in League One, League Two, and across the non-leagues to share the spotlight. We mentioned yesterday that amazing crowd, sixth tier of English football, Scunthorpe against Chester, nearly 8,300 people there, and Bradford in League Two, 23,000 people at Valley Parade. Absolutely amazing. Blackpool were one of those teams who picked up a big 2-0 win away to Northampton as they try and close on the playoff places in League One. It looks a bit of a forlorn quest, I'll be brutally honest, because they're 7 points behind the final playoff place at the moment. Joining us now to talk about Blackpool, England, and a lot more. Very happy to welcome the former Newcastle, Sunderland, Villa, current Blackpool manager, the legendary Steve Bruce, to the show. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Troy.
Morning, Steve. How you doing?
Okay, thank you. Very well.
Good. Look, before we get down to the football, mate, I've just got to ask you, obviously you've been all over the papers this week. Not your doing, not initially anyway, with those Dwight Gayle comments. I mean, how did you two get on at St James's Park when you were together?
Obviously not very well. I was. Listen, how I got regurgitated again when Newcastle have had their best week in 70 odd years is typical of me time probably in the northeast.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised and disappointed with some of the comments that Dwight made, because half of it was, well, exaggerated to say the least, and the other half was just lies, basically, which I found very, very difficult to understand. Put it that way.
Yeah, Steve, it's always disappointing, isn't it, when someone like Dwight has a conversation like that, which is totally out of context. I want to move away from it because I don't think it gives any good light to Dwight or yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
And just talk to you having a wonderful year with Blackpool, and you've got a striker and a friend of mine in Ashley Fletcher who's having arguably the best season of his career, so I want to put it into a more positive light. And what have you done to turn Fletcher around into a goal scorer all of a sudden?
Let me tell you, all we've done with Fletch was blow a bit of confidence his way a little bit. There was a few conversations, shall we put it that way, towards the start of my tenure and what I expected from him, because let's be brutally honest, Troy, he has got wonderful ability, the kid, and you can understand why he's gone for a lot of money a few times, because he's natural ability. But more than anybody, natural ability is not, you need more than that, you need to have a little bit more, and he was just gently reminded. And to be fair now, to the lad, he's playing very, very well, and I think that's 10 goals he's got this season, and played very well.
And I'm not going to bang on Steve about the Dwight Gayle thing. I'm really not. But did you use it? At the weekend you've gone to Northampton, you've won 2-0. Did you mention it to your boys in the dressing room beforehand? Did you use it as any?
No, I got it after the game, where we've all got press officers these days, and my press officer alerted me to it. So I thought I'll respond in the only way I can, is to have a little flight back at Dwight. Look, it's listen, if you're going to do this job, then you're going to be criticised, and you've got to be able to take it. I was disappointed with his comments, and it was totally out of, in my opinion, out of order. And when I see some of the quotes, like I put on my boots and put on a whistle because the Saudi Arabians were, I mean, what a load of nonsense that is. I mean, ridiculous.
And also, Steve, as well, you've got a team of coaches around you as well, so this is the thing that people need to understand as well. Some managers are managers and allow their coaches to do things and implement, and you will oversee everything, and other people are coaches. So to discredit the work that Steve's done over the time, I just thought was bang out of order, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like me now. I can't run around the training ground or anything like you would like to. But I've got Steve Agnew, who's been with me for years now, and we've got now Richard Keogh and Steve Dobie, who are now just finishing. Yeah. So I hope that I can pass on a little bit of knowledge to them. They might be thinking one day they might want to go into management, just like yourself, Troy.
Yeah.
So I've always surrounded myself with somebody young and up and coming who wants to learn it and can give you that energy, which obviously the players, day in and day out, which they require.
You had that with Stephen Clements as well, didn't you? Who went on to obviously do that at Gillingham, and so I totally stick up for you on this.
Yeah, and they came with me to Newcastle, and look, Troy, it was a difficult situation. I'm delighted for Newcastle that they've gone and won a trophy, but you know, when you look at it now, it was a million miles away from when I went back in there, you know, nearly 5 years ago or whatever it was. Now, it was a totally different club then. You know, the remit was just to stay in the league, and that was what we done.
1,050 games, Steve. You must have been doing something right along the way, mate. Is the playoffs Is the playoffs just a little too far away? Is it too big a stretch for Blackpool?
Well, look, we're never going to give up on it because we've got a big game the weekend now. All of a sudden, we play Bolton this weekend, and I think we're 7 points behind, as you've just said. Can we beat Bolton at the weekend? Big game for us, and let's see what happens with 7 or 8 games to play. You never know. Anybody who can put a little run together, a bit like what Charlton have done, to be brutally honest. They've given themselves a chance, and then they lose at the weekend 3-0 to Peterborough. So the division, as you know, is very, very difficult. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Just on the division, obviously, it's got a lot of press, hasn't it, for Birmingham City and Wrexham, obviously. But it's been so competitive throughout, I've thought. Again, the likes of Bolton dropping out of it, Reading have come out of nowhere, yourselves, Leyton Orient. Have you been surprised by the standard of the league this year?
Yeah, I have been very, very surprised with the standard of the league. There's some decent budgets in all with these clubs now, you know, and a club like ours as well is always going to be competitive with it, you know. So, yeah, it's been very, very enjoyable, Troy. I have to be brutally honest. I didn't know much about the Division 1 when I first walked through the door, but there's some very, very good players who can, I'm sure, make the step up. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, as I keep saying.
Brilliant. Steve, Stewie Adamson says, I look after the mascots at Reading. Steve is by far the nicest manager I've ever come across. He has time for everyone. Ignore Dwight. Steve, brilliant. Thanks for joining us.
Who's that guy? Who's the guy that he looks after the mascots at Reading?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, wonderful. How good is that?
Yeah,
brilliant.
Wonderful. Just remember it next time you go down there, Steve, right?
I will do. No problem at all, Troy.
Cheers, Steve. Take care, mate.
Man. Have a nice day, bud.
Cheers. Thank you, lads.
Just briefly, Tom was a Kettering fan, says, can we get a special shout out for the 1,700 fans who turned up on Saturday to watch Kettering against Telford, both teams eyeing automatic promotion and a return back to the National League. Not many teams that low down can boast an attendance that high, and we've managed to do it consistently pretty much all season. Up the poppies, says Tom, the Kettering fan.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.